care, lead, innovate, motivate, balance. These 5 tenets reveal ways of creating a more profitable and customer-centric pharmacy. What will you discover when you climb with RMS?
Hi, I'd like to thank RMS today for asking me to present to you on DISC, using DISC to move from talking to communicating. My name is Lisa Baker, and I have been working with independent pharmacies for, 20 years. And I work with DiversifyRx. It's a company owned by Dr. Lisa Faust. And as a company, we're on a mission to save independent pharmacies. We give the owner and the team a roadmap to profitability. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. My intent today is for you to understand the power of DISC. You may have never heard about personality assessments. You may have never taken one, and understanding, why is it important that I understand myself? You know, some people say, why do I do what I do? Well, if you can understand your behaviors, that's going to help you a lot. So today we're going to apply the law of awareness. That is our word, awareness, and then action, using DISC to recognize your strengths and your limitations. Realize that while people are different, they are predictably different, and discover the strengths of each personality style and how to communicate. John Maxwell is a former pastor and an American author of over 100 books on leadership, personal growth, and business transformation in the business. Why I bring him up? Because this is the John Maxwell DISC assessment that I use. I went and got certified to be a trainer and consultant. He is global. It's amazing how many people that are being impacted by his books, by his teachings. He just is incredible. So why is knowing someone's DISC style important? Because connecting. It increases your influence in every situation. And think about today. Oh my gosh, it is, we've got text. We don't even hardly talk anymore. We communicate in ways that oftentimes the relationship part of it is not even there. And so we are going to really dive into this. I think, again, this is important, and I hope you'll find the value. So what is DISC? It's a personality assessment tool that is used by more than 1 million people every year. It helps companies, small, large, individuals work on their communication skills, helps improve teamwork and productivity in the workplace. It looks at aspects of your personality or behaviors. It does not measure intelligence or aptitude. DISC is an acronym that stands for 4 main personality types or behaviors. You'll hear me use those words interchangeably. D is for dominant, I is influence, S is steady, and C is compliant. When someone understands their own style and then can identify others and the value that they bring, it allows you to stop measuring others by your own way of doing things. And it helps to raise awareness about ourselves and others. It also allows us to discover what makes each one of us unique. So if we look at our personality and our behavior, they are shaped by 3 main areas. The first one is hereditary. That's just from birth. There are distinct patterns of behavior. You may look at yourself in the mirror sometimes like, oh my gosh, I'm like my mom or my dad. And then there's the environment. The environment usually is up to age 10 to 12. It's our life experiences that were good and that were emotionally charged. Oftentimes those negative experiences are really having a big impact as we go into adulthood. And then there's role models, people in our lives who taught us what is valuable, or may have even rewarded us in certain behaviors. I had a client that I was doing a debrief with, and I asked her that question, who was impactful to you? She said, oh, I can remember. It was my 5th grade math teacher. She took the time to invest in me. And she said, I now have this love of math. So I want you to look at this and think about, are you outgoing or reserved? And kind of, okay, so if you're outgoing, you're up at the top up there. You can see that there's a little bit about the personality styles. And then, are you people-oriented or task-oriented? So for me, I am an IS. So you can see that I am outgoing, and my secondary behavior is S, which is stable, but I'm very people-oriented. So that's going to help you as we go through and talk about each behavior. So the first one is a D. They're, dominant. They focus on results so much. They're always working towards something, and they are proficient at multitasking. They're extroverts and task-oriented. Their task statement is, let's do it the fastest way. They are driven by authority, and they will try to take control. Their greatest fear is being taken advantage of. Sometimes when we have strengths that become out of balance, these can create obstacles for ourselves. So a few of these are, argumentative, inconsiderate. Because they're not afraid of conflict, they can become, come this way, they can be possessive. They don't like to apologize. But if we're going to be communicating with a D, like for me, I'm a high I, right? So I love to talk. I love to tell stories and everything. But with a D, I'm not going to be that way. I am going to come in. I'm going to be brief, direct, to the point, and then get out of there. We're going to ask what questions and not how. We're going to focus on results. Don't ramble. And I have to keep remembering that. Don't ramble. And when you have to discuss a problem, talk about its effect on outcomes. And D's are 3% of the population. So now let's go on to that I. I's are influencers. We are very friendly. We love being active. We love working in teams, very relationship oriented. Great storyteller. If you have a child that is a high I can tell you that your teachers, your children's friends know everything about what is going on. Their greatest fear is rejection and loss of approval. So when I's strengths are out of balance, they can create an obstacle. They may appear to be undisciplined, undependable, disorganized, distractive. And it's just, that's just our nature. And when we think about the obstacles, they can always change. You can work on those. And that's the beauty of DISC, is understanding your strengths and understanding these obstacles that I can actually work on myself and modify. When communicating with an I, don't do all the talking, because remember, I's love to talk. Hear them, acknowledge them. If you don't think their idea is going to work, recognize their efforts and encourage them to keep looking for solutions. The I-wired team members, allow time for socializing. One of the most important things I can tell you is follow up the details in writing. I had an owner that had a great cashier. She was a high I. People loved her. He was trying to show her a transaction to do, and he was getting frustrated because she just wasn't getting that transaction. And finally I said, well, did you write it down? He said, no. And I said, you have to. So remember that if you're working with an I, and also we like to have short meetings. we start to lose our attention span, start going all over the place. And then there's an S, 69% of you. You seek a team environment. You are very loyal. You are a good listener. You're compassionate. You like peaceful relationships. Your greatest fear is loss of security and confrontation. And again, when S's strengths are out of balance, they can create obstacles. People may think they're too laid back. They are resistant to change. They're slow to start. They have difficulty saying no. And they would rather buy it and not need it than need it and not have it. So communicating with an S, smile. Create a friendly tone when they come in. Show interest in them as a person. Don't be aggressive. Minimize the potential for confrontation. I call it when there is someone that is aggressive to an S, they will what we call turtling in, that they're going to kind of shut down. When you have a project or a meeting with them, oftentimes they may not say anything, and it's not that they don't have thoughts or recommendations. So you bring that out of them, talk to them. What are your thoughts? How can, because if you don't, they'll just take it away and they won't act on anything. And then we've got C. They love honor. They love logic and facts. They're compliant, conscientious, they're accurate, detailed, and they treasure perfection. Their greatest fear is criticism. When C strengths are out of balance, they can create an obstacle. They can appear to be moody, critical, unsociable, rigid. They can really overanalyze. C's make up 17% of the population. When communicating with a C, provide all the details. Again, because I'm a high I am not a detailed person, but I know that my manager, who is a high C, needs those details. And, don't get upset if they ask you more questions, because they need all those questions answered before they can, really go ahead and make a decision, because they want to make the right decision. And sometimes C's can, they can get analysis paralysis because they are focusing so much on the data and the task. So each framework of the D, the I, the S, the C is not meant to label us or put us in a box and close the lid. Each of us are actually a combination of all 4 DISC styles. However, we have a natural set point of 1 or 2 or sometimes even 3 styles that dominate. And that's where the DISC assessment comes in, to help you recognize the patterns of your behavior. And again, when we lean into our own natural areas of strength, we can bring our best to work and relationships. I've had some people ask me, what style is best? The answer is, of course, your style. You're gifted with strengths that, when used, contribute to work and lives around you. Your style is best, and that makes everyone better. And when we take the time to communicate and connect with others through their style instead of ours, we build the bridge to successful work and relationships. So again, we have the Maxwell DISC method personality, and his is different because he does focus on leadership and also communication. So if you want to learn, to what degree that you're a D, an I, an S, or C, this report is 30 pages that's going to just be all about you, and it will help you to discover, your personality. The Power Disc page, this is trademarked that John Maxwell did. And it really is very helpful in helping you to look at placing people in different roles, assigning them to projects, It looks at 7 principles needed in leadership, and we all are leaders, right? And it shows the strengths and how the person sees themselves. So when we look at the DISC style, it looks at your general characteristics, what you're motivated by, and your ideal environment. Taking all that information, creating a personal development plan, or taking action is going to be the best advice I can give you. And don't ever stop learning and growing. So I'm offering you a special today that you can get a free 30-day trial membership with DiversifyRx. And then if you have more questions, and you just, maybe you're not sure if you want to get the debrief done or the assessment done with the debrief, which is giving you a special of $50. But just book a call with me and I'll be glad to just see what fits you and maybe your team. Again, thank you so much.
Have you settled for a limited bundled-in POS because you aren't sure what's compatible with your pharmacy management system? At RMS, we've developed a revolutionary integration portal, and our state-of-the-art POS solutions integrate with over 30 pharmacy management systems. Unlock the door to powerful, cutting-edge point-of-sale functionality, no matter which pharmacy management system you want to use. At RMS, the choice is always yours.